At the still water's edge, a single misstep can reverse the entire situation. The crocodile surges forward without warning, using its powerful body and the terrain to cut off any retreat. Once it gains control, the targeted animal has little chance to regain control. In just a few seconds, a confident presence on land can be forced into a defensive position. This is how the crocodile turns long patience into a decisive advantage. The life of the wildebeest is shaped by its seasonal migration across the Serengeti and the Masai Mara. Each year, more than 1 million individuals, many adults weighing close to 550 pounds, steadily follow the rains in search of fresh grass. On land, they can accelerate to ease pressure from lions, but at the edge of the Mara River, the rules of survival change instantly. After long days of movement under intense heat, thirst draws the herd toward the water's edge. Steep, slippery banks and thick mud quickly weaken legs that are built for endurance. As pressure from thousands behind pushes forward, those at the front are left with little choice but to step into the fast-moving current. It is in this moment of disruption that the Nile crocodile's ambush strategy becomes most effective. With a length of over 15 feet and one of the strongest bite forces in the animal kingdom, it uses the terrain to control disoriented targets. In the strong current, pounding hooves and crowding movement slow many defensive reactions. Each river crossing becomes more than a passage. It is a demanding test within the Great Migration. Here, the crocodile's huntu behavior adds selective pressure on individuals that are weakened or off balance. From this, the cycle of survival continues along the Mara River. The cheetah is one of the fastest predators on the African savanna. With a deep chest, long legs, and a flexible spine, it can accelerate to about 70 miles per hour over short distances. But after each chase across the dry grassland, its breathing rate rises sharply, forcing this big cat to seek water to recover. At the riverbank, speed no longer offers the same advantage as it does in open terrain. When lowering its head to drink, the cheetah must bring most of its front body close to the surface. That posture narrows its field of view, creating a risky gap in awareness. Beneath the murky water, the crocodile remains still, conserving every movement as it waits for a target to approach the edge. At times, a cheetah moving with others may notice subtle signs and pull back at the last moment. But when drinking alone, it is more likely to lose its early warning against a sudden surge from the water. In the Okavango, crocodiles may even move onto land to approach food sources near the river. If a cheetah pauses to guard its catch, the safe distance can quickly disappear. Where grassland meets water, speed is no longer everything. awareness becomes the key to maintaining a chance of escape. In the African animal kingdom, lions and Nile crocodiles are both apex predators, yet each dominates a different domain. Lions rely on group strength on land to hunt and defend territory. In contrast, the Nile crocodile rules the river with patience, ambush ability, and armor-like scales. The boundary between land and water becomes an unstable transition zone. When an inexperienced lion approaches the water's edge or attempts to cross, it gives up much of its natural agility. Beneath the murky surface, the crocodile reveals almost no sign, yet it can sense subtle vibrations across the water. A single delayed reaction can place a land-based hunter at a disadvantage. After a sudden close approach from the crocodile, the lion quickly retreats toward the bank to leave the risky area. In deeper water, the lion's group advantage is no longer fully effective. Likewise, the crocodile must be cautious when leaving the river. On land, its ability to maneuver is more limited, making it vulnerable if several lions apply pressure at once. As a result, both species tend to avoid straying too far from their preferred environment. This encounter shows that in nature, there is no absolute strength. Power only holds its value when used in the right setting. And so the cycle of survival continues along the boundary between land and water. Along the great rivers of Africa, Nile crocodiles and hippos share a narrow but resource-rich space. One is a patient predator beneath the water, while the other carries a massive body weighing around 4,000 pounds, enough to influence everything nearby. Their constant presence keeps the river in a state of tension. Hippos often control shallow areas, where they rest during the day and move in groups to maintain territory. Their powerful movements can disrupt a crocodile's approach. Under this pressure, the reptile must keep its distance, observe longer, and choose its timing with greater care. Yet beneath the murky surface, advantage never belongs to one species forever. When a young hippo becomes separated in calmer water, the crocodile's ambush instinct begins to take hold. Relying on patience, concealment, and an ability to read movement, it waits for the right moment to secure a chance of survival. This cycle is not only about competition, but also reflects the crocodile's ecological role. When a large animal completes its life cycle and leaves organic material in the river, crocodiles help utilize what remains. In doing so, they reduce pressure on the aquatic environment and help maintain the river's balance. During periods of ecological change, intraspecific competition among crocodiles becomes a form of population self-regulation. As rivers narrow, survival instincts push these predators to conserve energy. Each encounter is not just an isolated interaction, but a reflection of the quiet, selective pressure of the environment. During the breeding season, the number of mature males increases around key water sources. Territorial competition becomes more intense, forcing less dominant individuals to leave favorable areas. Within this structure, endurance, experience, and spatial control determine the chance to maintain breeding roles. When natural prey becomes scarce, adult crocodiles may treat younger individuals of their own species as opportunistic food. This behavior can indirectly reduce pressure on shared resources, but it does not occur as a deliberate effort to control population size. Ultimately, crocodiles persist not through excess, but through their ability to adapt to changes in the river. Each individual adjusts its behavior to move through challenging environmental conditions. On the African savanna, a single mistake can alter the chance of survival. African wild dogs rely on pack discipline, endurance, and coordination to offset their physical limits. Adults typically weigh around 70 pounds, reach speeds over 44 miles per hour, and sustain chases for nearly 2 miles. During the dry season, however, the pack is drawn toward waterholes that carry hidden risks. As the pack approaches the edge, a still surface does not guarantee safety. One individual stepping too close creates an opening for a Nile crocodile to surge from concealment. The sudden surge disrupts the formation, forcing the group into a defensive response. Instead of retreating, several members turn back, barking, circling, and applying pressure along the water's edge. At the same time, the crocodile tries to draw the endangered member toward deeper water, where it holds greater advantage. The combined effort of the group and the survival instinct of the endangered member shift the situation, creating a chance to break free. This is not only an encounter with an ambush predator, but also a test of the pack's cohesion. In a harsh environment, coordination becomes the most important layer of defense for African wild dogs. In the middle of Africa's dry season, waterholes become unavoidable meet-in points for many species. For antelope, the challenge is not the distance traveled, but the need to assess the water before thirst overrides caution. The herd often pauses, ears angled in multiple directions, moving forward only when no unusual signs are detected. The Nile crocodile understands this hesitation. It rests close to the bottom, with only its eyes and nostrils above the surface, waiting for an individual to drift from the group or lower its head for too long. The shorter the distance, the more limited the antelope's reaction time becomes. Yet ambush does not guarantee success. A single sound or slight movement can cause the lead animal to step back, pulling the entire herd away from the edge. At the waterhole, the outcome depends on who detects the other first, the crocodile's patience or the herd's collective awareness. Orcas take control of the encounter from the very moment they appear. They pressure even the largest ocean giants with powerful, coordinated moves. When facing other predators, the group forms a calculated encirclement with remarkable precision. Intelligence and tight social coordination gradually shift the advantage in their favor. So which moment stands as the most dramatic orca attack in the history of the ocean? The great white shark stands as one of the ocean's most formidable predators. It possesses a streamlined body weighing around 2,000 pounds. It is equipped with a highly refined electroreception system. Sudden ambushes from the depths allow it to dominate most prey. In its domain, it exists as a solitary hunter with almost no rivals. However, that balance begins to shift when the dark dorsal fin of an orca appears off the coast of California. A classic encounter between two apex forces is set into motion with remarkable precision. One orca swims along the outer edge to draw attention. Meanwhile, another moves silently below to approach from the shark's blind zone. With no wasted motion, a single orca accelerates upward from beneath. It closes in along the side with a powerful burst of force. The precise impact induces a state of tonic immobility. This response places the shark into a temporary inactive condition. The situation quickly turns as the orcas coordinate to access a nutrient-rich resource. This process is completed within roughly 15 minutes. That cognitive advantage continues to stand out when orcas confront rays in the waters off Mexico. When facing animals equipped with a venomous tail spine, they deliberately maintain distance and observe with caution. When the right moment appears, a precise tail strike generates hydrodynamic pressure. This disrupts the ray's ability to control its direction. Their flexibility in adapting to each target allows orcas to take command of the encounter. Gray whales are among the most resilient giants of the wild ocean. Weighing around 90,000 pounds, they are gentle in nature, yet capable of enduring vast migrations across thousands of miles. However, That sense of safety is quickly challenged in the waters off California, where orcas set up a calculated ambush. Their primary focus is often the calf. Orcas track from a distance, waiting for areas with complex currents or confined space. These conditions make it harder for the mother to maintain a stable protective formation. When the moment arrives, the orcas spread out and take turns closing in. This forces the mother to constantly change direction to shield her young. Each wave of pressure acts like a relentless test of endurance. It gradually drains the energy reserves of both mother and calf. The predators maintain continuous pressure, limiting the calf's ability to recover at the surface and extending the struggle over time. After hours of sustained fatigue, the balance begins to shift. The gained energy becomes a critical resource that supports the orcas in future hunts. Across the world's oceans, orcas stand as independent clans, each shaped by its own distinct culture. From big groups that specialize in hunting marine mammals to families that pursue whales, every population carries a unique identity. A strong matriarchal structure allows leading females to pass down survival knowledge across generations. Their presence plays a vital role in maintaining the balance of life throughout the global ocean. Unlike gray whales, which tend to endure, humpback whales stand as true fighters, equipped with powerful 15-foot pectoral fins for defense. Their bold nature allows these giants to hold their ground in open waters, forming a living shield to protect their young. Yet that sense of security is quickly challenged when a pod of orcas appears and identifies a weakness in the maternal defense system. To overcome such a massive opponent, the orcas assemble groups of up to 30 individuals to maximize their numerical advantage. They deliberately avoid the sweeping reach of the pectoral fins while maintaining constant pressure at close range. 3 of the largest males dive deep before surging upward from below with immense force. This coordinated impact forces the whale off balance, disrupting its ability to maintain orientation. In response, the humpback counters with repeated tail strikes and sharp body rotations to reduce damage. The encounter becomes a prolonged test of endurance, stretching across dozens of miles. The outcome shifts only when one side begins to lose rhythm and stamina. In nature's most calculated contests, sheer size alone is never enough without strategy. Orcas once again demonstrate their dominance through remarkable intelligence and adaptability. The ocean is defined by harsh boundaries, where one species' advantage becomes another's weakness. Sea lions are adapted to both water and land. In the water, they are agile, accelerate quickly, and control their movement with precision. On land, their heavy bodies make them slower and more vulnerable. To exploit this weakness, orcas use large waves during high tide to approach the shoreline. An unaware individual resting near the water's edge quickly becomes a target. With a sudden burst of speed, an orca launches its multi-thousand-pound body onto the shore. It slides forward with momentum, closing the distance in an instant. The approach happens in a split second, enough to secure the target before it can react. After gaining control, the orca pivots its body and uses the receding water to return to deeper areas. Every movement is calculated to reduce the risk of becoming stranded. This intentional stranding technique highlights the orca's advanced control of its environment. It is an advantage reserved for a predator willing to push beyond natural limits. When adult sea lions move offshore, the encounter shifts into an underwater pursuit. Orcas deliver powerful body impacts that make it harder for the sea lion to return to the surface. The sea lion attempts sharp 180-degree turns to navigate through openings. However, the urgent need for oxygen makes it difficult to maintain its initial agility. Seals thrive in cold ocean regions thanks to their streamlined bodies and thick layers of blubber that retain heat. They can dive to great depths and reach speeds of around 22 miles per hour beneath the surface. However, their greatest vulnerability lies in their reliance on ice floes for resting and breeding. This fragile boundary between ice and water creates the perfect opportunity for orcas to deploy a highly calculated hunting strategy. Once a target is identified, a group of 3 to 5 orcas quickly forms a horizontal line. They swim in parallel just inches below the surface. They accelerate together to about 20 miles per hour, heading straight towards the edge of the ice. With precise timing, their powerful tail strokes generate a strong wave that surges upward across the surface. As the ice begins to fracture, the seal clings to its final point of support. Below, the orcas use their snouts to push broken ice pieces away. They limit all possible escape routes. A series of coordinated waves from the wave-washing technique increases the pressure. This eventually forces the seal off the surface. The moment it enters the water marks a complete shift in control. Through seamless coordination and precision, orcas demonstrate exceptional hunting intelligence. Their success rates reach around 80%. In this environment, the setting no longer protects the prey. It instead becomes a tool that works in favor of the predator. In the depths of the ocean, agility and tight social structure form a strong shield that protects dolphins. They move in coordination like a single entity and rely on speeds of up to 25 miles per hour to evade solitary hunters. Yet nature holds a paradox in the form of the orca, the largest and most intelligent member of their own family. This apex predator understands how to turn those very strengths into a calculated trap. Using echolocation, orcas can detect targets from several miles away. Once the signal to engage is set, the group establishes pressure from both sides. They guide the dolphin pod into a narrowing corridor, limiting any chance to change direction. Dolphins may have stronger burst speed, but they cannot sustain it against the endurance of their opponent. The formation tightens, isolating exhausted individuals from the group in open water. The encounter concludes with a powerful surge that launches the target into the air. The outcome leaves a lasting impact, forcing surviving dolphins to alter their migration routes immediately. They begin to regroup into larger, tighter formations. These superpods become their strategy for continuing the long journey of survival. In the end, the water remains as dangerous and unpredictable as ever. The crocodile slowly sinks back into the cold, murky depths, as if it had never revealed its true power. The encounter is a reminder that in deep waters, a single movement can be enough to shift the balance. But this is only the beginning of even more dramatic predator encounters still to come. If you want to see more, like the video and subscribe to the channel today.